you don't want to pull the rug out from under a team that's in a playoff spot.
Totally.
How much of what we're seeing with the Flames right now, because we see it every day, we talk about how they can't score and there's no forward depth, and it's how much of this is they're getting really good goaltending from Wolf, and the other teams around them are no friggin' good either. If any of St. Louis, Vancouver, Utah, if they were
8, 9,
any good, you wouldn't be in a playoff spot. I guess my point is this the Flames nutting up and showing that they're a playoff team, or is this just kind of they're mid and happen to be in a spot today?
It's totally the latter. We used to say 95 points was the cutoff for the playoffs. Like, nope, not this year in the West. And I'll go look at the East, but I think it's a higher threshold already right now.
Because the reason I say that is if you make a Kadri trade, it's a blow to the room. But are you going in there and saying, you guys have been playing unbelievable? It's been heart and soul stuff all season. I hate to do this to you, but we're trading Kadri. Or do you look at it and say, well, we are what we are. There's going to be changes.
I think it would all depend on the return. Like if you could somehow do
assuming you get the return you like.
Well, of course, but I just mean like if you're going to sell it in the room, picks aren't going to do it and prospects aren't going to do it. If you got Casey Middlestat back and you sent Kadri back to Colorado where he won a cup and you're going center for center, you're like, holy shit, this is a good young player. He also plays center. We got another guy that isn't in his 30s, that is in his mid-20s, we're expecting to get better year over year. That's a move you can sell. But if it's Kadri for like a second and the rights to some college kid, I think that's deflating to the room.
But to double back, I agree.
Yeah.
But has the team earned?
They played their ass. It doesn't matter what and I'm being serious.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what our analysis of it is, because the guys in the room believe they have.
Yes.
They are in a position. There's no other measurement.
Yeah.
This is the only way you can do it. You have to play the games, and you're in the league you're in. And whether Vancouver sucks or not is irrelevant.
I don't think the guys in the room are saying, man, that was a great win. But you know what? Vancouver's really giving it to us, so we probably don't deserve as much credit. No, they're like, we're in this. Everyone said we couldn't do it. We're doing it. And yeah, the circumstances have totally played out in their favor with Vancouver falling to shit and the other teams not being good.
But that's what I said to Noodles about if he had brass balls and you wanted to, now would be.
Because we've sat here for a long time saying, man, if you could ever get out from under a Kadri contract, how can you trade him? He's untradeable.
Yeah.
Well, you're finally at a spot where, you're not having to pay for someone to take him. You might get an attractive return.
I would move.
If you can get an attractive return, it's honestly, you have to do it.
Doesn't this feel like Giordano 2.0 in a way?
He will turn 35 in October.
Yeah, there's no guarantees even a year from now that he's close.
If you're like, no, we can just punt. It's like, well, with Rasmus, you can punt. There's a year left. He's not in his mid-30s. At some point, Nazem Kadri will stop being good at hockey, and it's not going to be his fault. It's father time. He's going to be 35 in October. You're beholden to get that done if you can get significant assets back. Now, we asked earlier in the year when we were talking about Vancouver, some other spots, like who's doing who the favor with Kadri. Mm-hmm. And so, our opinions of guys waver, just like Vladar. I've loved them at times. You're like, they're getting nothing for this guy. He's no good. He's played well right now. You feel differently. Kadri's had the type of season where I think you probably could get assets back from him.
And as we have the the bigger conversation about how do you get good? How do they get better? How do you...
Not by playing a 36, 37-year-old centerman.
This is the move. Too. Yeah, this is the move you have to make. It's hard. It's tough in the room. It's this whole thing. But if there's a deal that he agrees to with the no move and makes sense for your team, and you're not going to do it because you have a 2 point, you're 2 points in on March 5th.
And that's why I think a deal like Middlestat's one you can sell, because you're like, look, we're not giving up. We're getting a younger guy here, and he's good at hockey too. But we don't know the offers. And I do think it's a unique circumstance where a team's going to look at that contract and be like, yes. Because it has to be a window that's closing for a team, because they know what we know, which is that Father Time's undefeated.
Teams up there, which teams?
Well, like who's got to win now before it's too late? That needs
Colorado, Toronto.
Yeah, those two. And again, he's won in Colorado. He knows the room. They don't seem to be happy with Middlestat, so they can feel like they're upgrading their 2C, which is a glaring need for them. If Toronto can slot Tavares as a 3C, they're in great shape.
What's the center depth like in Vegas?
They got Barbashev. They got Eichel.
Right? Like if
William Karlsson's about to come back.
You feel like
wing
Kadri
center.
for a playoff run is a nice asset if you think you can win.
Agreed. It's no one's worried about the player now. It's just how much is that contract going to hurt us? So even if you had to eat $2 million, it's a long time you're gonna have to eat $2 million. But when Nazem's $5 million in a growing cap universe, I think you get a haul back.
Yeah.
And it just feels like don't
What
be
about
fooled.
Vancouver?
It's 4 years left.
Yeah,
4 years left. 4. 35, 36, 37, 38. That's wild.
He'd love to go back to Toronto.
Out east.
He'd love to go back to Colorado. There's your
Who
top
are
two.
the teams out east that might be interested in?
Trying to think who needs a center. It's good and has to win now.
Does Columbus?
I think they're so young they'd be weary about the term on it more than other teams would be because their window seems to be
But
just
it's like
opening.
you said, if you 8-2 and he's
Is it not too simple to just point at Toronto? Because you have Treliving there. You feel like he would waive to go back there. They are leading their division. Their goaltending is probably better than it's been
they want center depth
in a long time.
The two teams that make the most sense at first glance are the two teams you used to play for, and that's Toronto and Colorado.
You probably don't have to worry about getting past Boston this year. You don't have to slay that dragon.
No, you get the Panthers with Seth Jones and,
Yeah.
and a healthy Matthew Tkachuk and a red-hot Tampa Lightning team and maybe a Battle of Ontario. That's going to be fun out there.
But if you can finish first in your division and you get a Detroit or the Rangers or the Blue Jackets or Ottawa,
Yeah.
you feel good there. And then, you're going to have to beat some good teams. I wonder where Treliving's head is at. He's been there a couple years now.
Too, yeah.
Marner, expiring contract.
Tavares.
He's aggressive to begin with,
Yeah.
and I think they see an opportunity because it's kind of wide open in the East. I think people are writing off Florida a little too easily, given that they know exactly how they have to play to win.
It's just hard to keep doing it.
It really is,
done.
but I feel like people saying there's no true favorite out there. It's like, well, people are going to have to go through Florida still, and they just added Seth Jones, who will be re-energized.
What's
playing games
Tampa
that
Bay
matter.
doing?
They're on a heater. They've been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Treliving's not worried about, well, what's Easton Cowan going to mean for me in 4 years? You got to trade that guy, get some assets, or whether it's Fraser Minton, their first rounder
But
next
is
year, whatever it is.
Is it the forward group that Tree's looking at so much, or is do
They
you know
need-
what I mean? Like
So they've had an
Dallas.
injury to Tanev. OEL's been hurt and just came back. Those are guys that you'd like insurance for. They'll probably try to get another D, but they want another center because they just slot way better when they can go Matthews, a guy, Tavares, 1, 2, 3, because they've got that way you spread out your wingers. You got your Nylanders and Marners and Nyes and Domi, Robertson. Like you can just spread them down instead of having one of these tweeners play center like Nylander or Domi that they're better on the wing.
Yeah, and Domi has not had a good year.
No, but I don't
You
worry
might
about
have
him
to
in a
have a guy.
playoff series if he's on a third line. Yeah.
If you can go Matthews, Kadri, Tavares,
Oh,
you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself. And then to your point on the back end, OEL, Morgan Riley.
because Riley's not what he was. He's still
no.
good.
yeah, he's had a tough year, but if
Jake-
you can put him with a big, strong defender type, they've been linked to Ristolainen. a
That
bit.
decor's shit. Name the names. Jack, tell me the people that play defense.
You don't need to do. He's busy. He's
No, but I'm
Well,
actually
okay, so-
and I don't
I
care
know.
if it's Jack.
Tanev,
Yeah.
OEL, Riley. They have the
Tanev's not
Benoit
playing,
kid. Well, he'll be back soon.
Yeah.
And then who am I missing? Timmins.
Yeah, Connor Timmins, Jake McCabe.
McCabe is playing
But
big minutes.
But that's my point.
There
These
isn't
are-
a star in there, but it's actually a better decor than they've run into the playoffs the last 3-4 years. They've been
It's
really
not elite though.
No, it
It's
sure
not-
isn't. But it's big and physical. It's much more of a Treliving blue line than it's a playoff blue line.
So you're comfortable with
No,
that
I
line
just said they're
going?
going to add.
Yeah, but you're saying
I don't
again
think they
both
had a top
sides. You're
pair.
saying it's good, but
You could do both though, right?
It's not a huge problem, but I think they'll try to add a depth guy. That's
if
what I'm saying.
what are they more likely to lose because their D can't keep up and their goaltending, or because their forwards stop scoring?
It's been a bit of both. All their playoff exits, to be fair.
I know I know what you're saying. But could you envision a spot where you get Kadri, but then you do one of those Treliving, we'll bring in Derek
Labushkin.
Forbort, or we'll bring
Yeah.
in a guy who's a
Fantenberg.
4 or 5,
Yeah, exactly.
and then Tanev comes back.
No, I want a bigger trade. Kadri Anderson.
I
Now
see.
I see
There
where
it
you're
is.
working.
There it is.
But yeah, I think in a perfect world, they had D and forward. The two goalies they had
Both.
are both
We got
wild
them
cards.
both.
They've been great.
We got it both right here, right in the hometown.
Yeah.
And, clearly the Flames want to do business with Treliving, so that'll be really easy to get done.
Well, if pettiness is causing
Yeah, if
God, I
that's
hope.
going to keep you from making a trade
really
for your
good-
team that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
then
I just think about what, Nazem's the first year was so bad with Sutter and you're worried a lot. And then the last 2 years, he's competed his ass off. I've been quite impressed. He's won me over in the work ethic department. If you were a young kid watching him play, you're like, okay, he shows up every night and he works hard. He is not taking nights off.
No.
And year one, I was worried about nights off because we saw a few in a
Took him.
playoff stretch under Sutter, but it was clear he and the coach were on the same page. So I think you're excited that he's looked like the guy you signed.
Treliving brought him here.
But there's 4 years left.
oh, I know.
And so what does he look like when he's 36? What does he look like when he's 37? What does he look like when
Well,
he's
where
38?
is an easier place to get him to have a bad back? Here or
Toronto, rub it Island. do the
right?
best
Like,
there.
yeah,
yes.
he's from like
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah.
You're back at. Look at you. You're all you
Got
got a
thing
little
on.
hitch in your hip out of
What do you
place.
got there?
Let's sit you down for a bit. Put you on LTIR.
Somebody needs a back rub. You need some need a massage there. It does. It we don't know what the offers are. We don't know if he'd waive. We don't know if teams want him, but it does feel like this could be one of those things down the road. It's like, man, you had a
Mhm.
chance
Totally.
to move Kadri back at that deadline potentially, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, when you write that book, Conroy, just remember.
That's right.
You're gonna
We were
have to-
telling you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.